What the fuck is up, dude? What the fuck is up?
Yeah.
What the fuck is up? Yo,
Yo.
yo. It has been too long. Welcome back. Happy New Year to you.
Yes, new year. New year.
2023. I feel pretty good. I don't know. Is this going to be a garbage year full of war? I see World War III on the horizon, but
My prediction, World War has passed. I think people are just sick of it on both sides.
predictions.
Yeah.
Predictions.
Yeah. I originally wanted to talk about 2022 in review, but kind of looking at it, I don't know. For me, it didn't look like there's anything super noteworthy about games. What do you think?
I think for me, actually, Cyberpunk is worth playing. That's really
Okay.
worth playing. It's fucking brilliant. It's such a
Yeah,
good
good to
game.
know. Yeah.
Genuinely, an absolutely phenomenal. We got another dog. It's an
Oh,
absolute
cool.
phenomenal experience. Honestly, I've genuinely been really enjoying it. Picked it up. I was always gonna go and try to play it, but I wanted to wait, obviously, for the sales. I wanted to wait for everything to kind of like settle down. I'm done. No more pre-order gang. We ain't doing that stuff anymore. But my God, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's buggy, but in places still. But like, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? I mean, what's not?
Did it like improve since the launch? Like
I
after
never
the
played it, so I never
Okay,
played it.
yeah,
I never paid
yeah,
attention to any of the news. I very specifically like waited until the very end, and I just I mean, it's one of those
yeah,
things where like if you, it's I mean, it's like No Man's Sky, I guess too as well. You know what I mean? If you look at where it was on launch, and all the news and everybody just ragging on it as like a game in general, um, and then look at it like when you actually get into it, you're like, all right, this is kind of cool. It's
yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah.
It's It is genuinely a decent amount of fun, and it's been entertaining so far. I'm not gonna lie, it's got me now into it. I watched Edge Runners with the girlfriend on Netflix, and we had a little fucking single tear at the very end of all of that. That was really nice, and
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know. Steam has done their reviews for the year in terms of like where you are in the population of things, and let's just say I didn't
I
play a
was
lot of games on Steam last year.
You did or did not?
I did, but I didn't play as many of the total amount of games that I played throughout the year. I didn't play them all on Steam, whereas I think that like from years prior, if you look at a trend, it's always been Steam obviously as the like portal to video games, right? Minus like if you're gonna be on the HTMLs, like go on to somewhere else online, right? Play web games, but I think it's an interesting turn if you look at like the last 2 years, or just at least how Epic and the I mean, I've been on the Epic Games launcher a lot more, I think, than on Steam.
Yeah,
A lot more interactive with it now over the last while, especially over Christmas. I don't
same.
know if you picked up any of those free games and stuff like
Every
that.
one of them.
I probably missed one and I've FOMO'd for it, which sucks. Definitely sucks. But
Yeah.
I got a bunch of games that I've always had on the back burner, like Dishonored. Kind of looking forward to playing that one.
Yeah, same thing, same deal. I usually don't have the Epic Game Launcher even open,
Yeah.
but then Christmas in particular, I kept it open and checked it every day. I uh, I personally was like, all right, these are a lot of AAA titles that don't entice me because a lot of them were, especially like, I'd say at least half of them were like shooters that were pretty high quality looking, but I was just like, I could use some fresh indie looking games, so it never got me to actually play them. But I love collecting them, and now I pay more attention because now I know. Oh, okay, and tomorrow they're gonna have a new game to give. So uh,
Absolutely.
it's one
Absolutely.
step more towards me actually using that launcher a lot more. So good deal. As for man, I wasn't prepared to give like a game of the year like you did.
No,
So
I was not prepared either to give a game of the year. I don't know if I gave it a game of the year, but it's definitely
yeah,
been enjoyable for sure. It genuinely,
Yeah.
we're one shotting straight into this, and I'm okay with it. But
Okay, yeah. You know what? I'll just give mine then. My game of the year is Nikkei on mobile. That's my game of the year. It's
Booba butt game, Booba butt game for the future.
I don't even see that. I see the high quality narration and deep meta
Do
systems.
you really? You don't see ass jiggle? That's all you see. That's all
Way
I see.
beyond that. But honestly, it's a hugely pleasant surprise. Uh, I know it's gonna sound ridiculous, but if you look at other comments, though, you'll see it, which is the story is actually pretty good.
Damn.
It was very surprisingly good, and but the gameplay systems and the fact that so this game is making Genshin levels of money.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, in November it made more than Genshin. In
Damn.
December it made a little bit less. So it's around Genshin numbers, and they're able to take this money and funnel some of it back into the game where they're pushing some new content, which is good. So it's a pretty interesting mobile game to be watching. So that's my current vote. I had to throw something out there.
No, it's great. No, I love it. Are you watching that, like, in terms of the data side of things? Like, where are you trying to grab your numbers from these days right now?
Yeah, I've just been looking at Sensor Tower for that game in particular. So.
Yeah, Abani made a free tier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Oh,
jumped.
yeah.
Well, it's data.ai or whatever now, but like I jumped onto the website there just the other day because I was looking at some Deconstructor of Fun articles because there's some
Yeah.
interesting. December 3rd, they put down a breakdown of like with the downturn into a bear market. What is that going to do for the wallets of individuals, right? And I've been talking to some colleagues about it. It's kind of interesting to hear their takes, right? Like I would say like yeah, like even in any sort of economic downturn, especially one that we're seeing right now, people are just going to naturally be a little bit more hesitant with their wallets. So I think in one of the markets that I watch, like the puzzle market, right, casual puzzle, this is like all match three and everything like that. There was like a 6 point something percent year over year downturn. So there was shrinkage across like the major markets within the mobile market, but I think that still doesn't make up for the growth of the year prior or anything like that too. So it's not like it like shrunk more than a year's worth of time or years worth of growth anyway. So, but at the same time, you can imagine if people are pinching a little bit, there's probably a little bit less money in the coffers going out into mobile within the next year, but also or gains in general. But I think that one person said it to me, and I kind of agree with them too, is that some people see mobile games a little differently as like guilty pleasures, right? Because the IAPs are usually a little bit less, right? So the ones that are really going to get hit are top dog honchos, right? The $60, the $70, the $100, whether it be like regular games or just IAPs or whatever like that. But there's still the 299s, the 199s, the 599s. Those will trend to reign strong. Now, I want to say that as let's see what that does for the predictions of trends, but it might be a case to go and say, okay, well, maybe base more IAPs around those price points, but we'll see because it's obviously if you want to do it properly individually for individual sake, right? But you know,
Yeah, and I think that is a very big trend that a lot of people will have to have conclusions about, because I did think about this a little too, and I don't want to. I'm not going to jump totally into
no,
predictions,
we're
but
not.
like,
Yeah, but also like
but
yeah, whatever money.
oh
Who
yeah,
cares?
but like yeah, everyone's been talking about how ad-based games will weaken because of IDFA and all these things, but if you think about free tiers, that or tiers that are more affordable for people, that actually means they might favor ad-based games. So we might see like this whole clash between ad-based games versus IDFA and stuff. So
Yeah, there's a guy on LinkedIn there. His name's Matt Emery. He just did an interesting couple of posts on the trend now with AI as well, like being able to create those fake ads and fake narratives and
yeah,
things like that, and how that's kind of annoying people in the market. But we'll see how all of that kind of works out. There's a lot more like fake games getting out into the market right now.
Yeah,
So, but you know what I mean. What else are you gonna do? I mean, I don't know. We need to find different ways to like penetrate and figure out market viability. So
absolutely.
it's I don't know. It's anti-consumer, I guess, but pro-developer. Who knows? Let's see. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
Making games is tough. That's regardless. That's all I've. That's what I've really. That's what I figured out. I
yeah.
don't know. It's hard.
All right. I'm ready to jump into predictions if you are.
Shit, dude. I don't know. Right. So. All
Well, okay. Well,
right.
I'll give
Well,
a
I.
quick
Yeah. Go
disclaimer
on.
about predictions, and maybe you can say the
Sure.
same
Sure. Sure. Are we
when I'm done.
categorizing? What are we doing here?
Well, I just wanted to give out like three predictions each about what's going to happen in the game industry, and that's a free form question. You can say whatever you want.
Gosh.
But the thing I want to say about predictions, because I've been pinging a lot of people, fellow designers like probably you, and just asking, what do you think about 2023? And actually, the main reason I'm doing that is because I think it is. You have to do this, especially as a designer, especially as a CEO, or if you want to run an indie studio someday, you got to predict.
Sure.
And whether you're right or wrong is honestly irrelevant. The
Sure.
point is you're getting in the practice because this is one of your most important skills to do, so you can take advantage of the market.
Sure. Okay. Uh, let's trade off 1-1, and then we'll go from
Okay,
there. Okay.
sounds good.
My first one is that, and we're probably it's not really a prediction because we're already seeing it, but Unity's market share is going to dwindle. They're going to lose more and more ground to Epic and Unreal Engine in the next coming year, and beyond. I think that as Unreal 5 gets more into the public domain of how easy it is to get to cool graphics, that I think that is now going to flip to become almost the 50-50 standard.
I heard this was admittedly a really hot take, and he was like half joking, but he was like, I think Amazon will buy Unity in 2023 as because they're going to be so cheap,
Oh
because
shit.
of, like you said, they're dwindling market share. But obviously, that's kind of a stretch guess, but you're absolutely right. It doesn't have the same monopoly, even in mind share, uh, compared to a lot of the other engines. It's weird to see.
I think a crap game on Unreal will look better than a crap game on Unity, and I think that's a. Yeah, I mean, it used to be the indie darlings would always go to Unity, right? We would always pop over to there just because it was so easy and it was so many different resources to be able to just make whatever you wanted. If you wanted to make a grappling hook, you just Googled how to make a grappling hook Unity and you would get it instantly, and there it is. I don't think that you used to not have that at all with Unreal Engine 3. But I think that's completely changed, or at least is changing, with more of the modern market as well too, in movies and film, like moving over there. I think more people wanting higher fidelity games and everything like that. I think that's really going to be. I think, yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be a shift there, shift in the market focus, like especially. So if you're out trying to look for a job, make sure that you're not just like complete focusing on one engine. Like, do focus on both. Like, try to figure out both.
That's a very good point. Usually, I would just say to somebody, "Hey, learn Unity because it'll give you the best job offer." But
100%.
chances, but no, yeah, you're right. No longer. And about the tutorial thing, also a good point because usually generally go with like one of the larger frameworks because you're gonna have more resources. But as we both know now, you can get some decent answers by asking an AI for some specific coding things. Because I had a friend who's he's learning Game Maker Studio and he's not a coder.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Right.
and I was like, to get started, you actually might want to just ask some AI for some scripts rather than try to do tutorials. So I think that opens up avenues for how you can get help.
Yeah, you're hilarious. Just just start asking a bot that knows nothing.
Yeah.
But it's true though. You know, I mean, I don't know. I think people interact, not total side note, but I think people interact with those things completely different than how I interact with them, right? So like I don't have one of these like Echoes, Google Homes, or anything like that. I don't use Siri. If robots start talking to me, I tell them to shut the fuck up and stop talking to me right now. I fucking can't stand it, right? If robots started walking the street, I would be grandpa just screaming at it and telling it, "You're not anything. Shut the fuck up. Get in the fucking car." I fucking hate you.
This is
Um,
because you're a dog person, so you have no tolerance for like inanimate objects.
yeah. You have no soul. You're not real. Like, fuck you. Like, absolutely, right? And it's funny what playing Detroit Beyond Human with the girlfriend as well, too, for the first time, and just being like, oh, humanity, ugh, like, who's better? It's like, fuck off. You're fucking trash, dude. You're a fucking trash can robot. But, but people like have full blown like you know what I mean it's naturalistic you know what I mean human connect so they're having full on human conversations with it and then doing weird things where they're like redefining things within the back end models of the or at least within the conversations of the thing so it's like if the AI comes back and is like doesn't really know anything the human calls it out and it's like you don't really know anything about that like that's wrong like you're doing that's you know what I mean let's redefine this and like blah 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 and then all of a sudden it's like all the language starts changing and within like the conversation and everything that's happening so you know what I mean it's that whole phenomenon is going to definitely continue that trend of getting more and more advanced more available and more interesting to use like
Yeah.
do I have to pay for that after a while because that's going to suck because I
Yeah.
will pay for it. I will 100% pay for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Generative AI is going to change a lot of the landscape. I don't have any predictions regarding them though, personally.
Just
And no,
fucking.
no big ones. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to happen in a lot of ways. So I didn't touch it.
I think that with that, like, I don't know, is there any, you know, for me, like, stock market, like, who's the quantum computer people, right? Like,
Oh, okay.
because I think that the quantum computers plus those AI models is just going to make it the better, the more accurate that they can get, the more interesting, but also, like, year over year, quantum computing has become more available as like a platform. Like you can go and like rent, you know, CPU space and stuff on some of these things now on the web, and I think it's gonna it's back to where IBM was back in the you know in the 80s, right? Where like everybody had a computer at their desk, but it was all linked to one central CPU, and the CPU was in the fucking basement, and you had to send your command to the thing, and then it ran there, and then came back, right? But everybody was doing the same thing, so I
Wow,
think
I
it's
did
a
not know they had quantum computing as a service. Sounds like that's a thing.
yeah, yeah, a few different companies now, especially big ones. I think Google does it as well too. But yeah. Anyway, so what's your? Well, let's see. What's
All
your
right.
first prediction?
Yeah. Okay. I'll also give my most reasonable take before going into much hotter ones. So from my personal observation, I would say 30% of genres have been roguelitified. So like what I mean by that is like there is a roguelike or roguelite for like 30% of genres out there.
Okay.
Uh, I think in 2023, 100% of genres will have a decent roguelike entry. So you might play a soccer game and there's a rogue now there's like a roguelike soccer where every time you score, I don't know, the other player gets to choose from three upgrade cards or something. I start you start seeing this in a lot of genres. You see them in endless runners. You see them in strategy. Oh, RTS. I saw a RTS roguelike game. So
Hmm.
I think it's going to be the trend. I mean, roguelikes have always been hitting and increasing in popularity, but I think people are they're starting to figure out how they can apply the mechanics to other genres other than RPGs. And I think everything will happen. You're going to have an Animal Crossing that's a roguelike.
Interesting. You got to send me the RTS one for sure.
Okay. Yep. Yep. So, oh, and here's one side note about that. So, I don't think people are going to be doing this because they fully understand why roguelikes work. They're just doing it because they see it everywhere. And I'm going to quote the guy who made Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
He does not understand why roguelikes work. He
Uh,
said it in an interview. I do believe him. I don't think he's just saying it to be a humble. I don't think he understands why they work. Because why and why Vampire Survivors got popular is a mystery to a lot of people. Is really crazy, especially if you look at a screenshot of the game.
yeah, like look, GFS has gotten Giant Fox has gotten inquiries from people to be like, "Hey, can you just make me Vampire Survivors again?" And I'll just market the shit out of it. I have a 2 month.
Yep.
I
Yep.
have 2 months. Like, get me something. Just use asset packs. I don't give a shit. Just get me, just the framework, like whatever, and I'll make $1 million. And you're like, sure. You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess. All right, sure.
You are not the only dev I know. I know that's been like getting VS inquiries. So yeah, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, if they don't want to do them, send them my way. By all means, we'll
Awesome.
we'll do them left, right, and center
Yeah.
every single day. I mean, we'll take those schmeckles. I mean, my God. Yeah, I don't know. Oversaturation there is like a huge thing, right? It is curious to say because I think that one of the first places where I think saw roguelike coming back, or not coming back, but hitting really hard last year was, what was the Loop Hero? Was it Loop Hero?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Right?
was a pretty new one. Yeah,
Like that came out. I don't know if that was last year specifically,
I think
but
it was.
I think it was last year. But I think it started last year. But I think that hit hard for a lot of people. And Tarkov and a lot of these type of jump in, jump out, ideas have been really around for like a hot minute, right? But like, I think that there's obviously something about that side of things that is like resonating really well. I think it's like easy gameplay loop that can just obviously just be kind of mirrored and hey, it's random. Hey, throw a bunch of things in. Hey, I don't know, like
Yeah.
um,
There's a four-player co-op shooter, so it's kind of like Borderlands, but they did straight up turn it into a roguelike. I forgot what the name is, but yeah, every
it's
time
not the
you
Warhammer one, is it, or
no, it is
dwarf
not.
one?
It is not. Yeah, I can't remember the name, but yeah, you go to a chest and then it opens up and you have to choose between three upgrades. So like you said with Tarkov, there's probably going to be an extraction shooter where it's explicitly you pick up something and you got to choose between three. So
Yeah, that's it. Don't We're not putting this episode out now. That's the game.
yeah,
No, for real. I could totally see that. Absolutely. Okay, any more on that one?
nope, all yours.
Okay, interesting. I do like that a lot, though. So this is gonna sound really bland because I don't really have any more predictions, but it's gonna sound really bland. I think that the most unique games are coming. The most unique games that we've ever seen before are coming.
That's a great take. I like that.
And that might sound very generic and just be like, yeah, like what I mean, new games or whatever are coming. But I genuinely think that the most unique games are coming very soon. When I look at like what's success these days, and we've talked about this now a few different times, right? And it's really changed like my opinion on commercial viability and market alignment versus just building something unique. I think that unique, obviously, for the most part, unique used to be um, niche, right? Unique used to be like, didn't used to be such a market disruptor, right? It used to be something like, oh, cool, look at, isn't that cool over there? It's like back to Call of Duty, right? But I genuinely think that with this world of AI and the different ways that we seem that that I'm seeing content creators as well make, especially around the games development side of things, make new content. I think that the most unique stuff is yet to come, or at least is going to hit harder. Now that could be mashing as many different genres together as humanly possible to like make something, but I think that like just in general, I think that yeah, like we're gonna see some really off the wall shit next year, or this year, I should say.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bland take at all. If anything, it's somewhat of a hot take because you look at the Game Awards and everything was,
Game Awards is bullshit, dude.
yeah,
It's fuck off, dude. Just you mean like all right, whatever. Like if that's you mean I get it, all right. Like if that's your life, then whatever. Like I get it, but like it's the same as the Oscars. It's the same as the Emmys. It's a circle jerk for the echelon, and I can't be arsed, right? Like, whatever. Go for, you know what I mean? I'm not watching this shit. And what the fuck was that kid at the end of the whole thing, dude? Somebody fucking put
the savior of the
that's
show.
a school shooter right there. Somebody fucking put that kid in therapy. Like something's wrong. That's something is fucking wrong
Yeah,
with that kid.
yeah,
Who's that kid's fucking parents? For God's sake, like where the
yeah.
fuck are
Seriously,
you, dude?
like I
Like
can. Yeah,
wee woo wee woo, like alarm bells. You should have fucking monitor this kid online, please. For God's sake.
yeah.
I'll
But
give it a last point here. Last thing I will say on this is, I think the big reason why I'm actually putting this out is, I think that High on Life, even though I haven't played it, has given me the gall to go and say this. I think that is going to be an inflection point of just how crazy a game can get before it can really turn the whole industry onto something. I think that the Stanley Parable 2 last year was incredible. Just incredible. Absolutely a fucking masterpiece of gaming. But it's not like a traditional style game, right? And I think that these things are going to sit in the psyches of the newest devs trying to do something, or at least I hope so.
I think there are two reasons that definitely support your prediction. One is that with AI, it does lower the barrier of entry to a lot of people. There's a lot of people that are like, ugh, I have a great idea, but I can't really afford an artist. I mean, there are people just talking shit about that, but for the most part, I really do think there are a lot of really strong designers that probably are held back because they don't have the content creation ability. So you are opening the floodgates for those people to start making games. So that's one reason where you might have some really unique ideas come out. And the second is you're right. There, I think people are just getting sick of certain things. I was looking at Need for Speed Unbound. That's the new Need for Speed. It came out in December. So I made some predictions on it. I was like, oh, it might do pretty well. It looks pretty cool. It looks really unique. It didn't do very well. And I think
I didn't see much hope in that because
yeah,
they keep fucking missing. Like they don't get. It's like the people who make it don't understand what made Underground 2 so good. They just don't
yeah,
get it. You know what I mean?
yeah. And on top of that, I think there must be at least some franchise fatigue because Need for Speed Heat came out like 2 years ago. I'm not sure, so I do agree. I think people are looking for more unique stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I mean all these things wax and wane, but I tell you, like I don't know about you, but I walk into grocery stores. I've bought so many Hot Wheels. I've bought so many fucking Hot Wheels over the last while. It's stupid. And I have so many. And you know what I mean? I think that with like Initial D has become more and more up in the rankings, right, in terms of like the psyche of the US car culture. I think drifting has become bigger and bigger over time.
Oh man,
All I see is car culture growing. yet Need for Speed and car games failing and failing and failing. I mean, Forza, Horizons did pretty good over time, right? Like over the couple of years that it's been out. But like, yeah, I mean, I expect the Need for Speed game to be cool, but that wasn't cool. I didn't get caught by the trailer. I didn't get caught by the car customization. I was like, we're back in 2006. Like, we're not. This isn't. I've played Car Mechanic Simulator, guys. Like, I'm able to change the fucking valve timing of my shit. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? It's not just
Oh
bolt-on
man,
parts anymore.
mix them together.
Yeah. I mean, give me something. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest, actually. I think actually a uniquer thing that I saw on that side was an indie game on Steam that was you played as the car mechanic or the car builder for Street Underground Racers. I don't know if that was the same game now that I'm thinking about it, but it's not the same as the Need for Speed game. I'm pretty sure.
That sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah. But you play as the tuner, right? So instead of being the racer that everybody comes to, you're the guy who like builds that fucking car, and the story like levels up all around it and everything like that,
Love it.
And I think that to me is like, that's a cooler angle. Where are you guys at?
Yeah.
One person in their fucking mom's basement, or an entire fucking studio of people and execs and millions of dollars? Which one are you gonna pick?
And one of in fact, maybe the highest grossing game in Japan was it was a horse breeding racing game. So kind of similar to tuning the car, you're doing the breeding and leveling up the stats.
How long ago is that though? Because there's like a literal gambling casino game that is like that you would see in like arcades, and you have like a little card with your save horse, and you go in, you like you fucking bet on your horse, like.
Yeah. Oh, that game was crazy. It's just like filled with all these like old people just swiping the cards.
You've no idea how much I pushed for a fucking horse breeding and racing game on mobile. Like I pushed for that at Backflip so fucking hard. I was like, please, we know how to do the breeding. Like, just let me make it horses. It'll be good.
Yeah. That game dominated Japan for I think the first half of 2022, so it was serious business.
Fuck.
But I'll go on to my second prediction, which is related to new things. All right, here you go. I'm gonna give away and say what a new genre is.
Oh shit!
I'm making a prediction. This is gonna be a new genre. All right, so this was kind of inspired because I saw there's this gacha game. It's called NeuroCloud. And it was an auto battler mixed with gacha. So like I forgot what TFT stand for. team fight tactics. But now like a
TFT.
PvE. Yeah, TFT.
Okay. TFT.
But then it's kind of like a gacha auto battler.
Okay.
And that kind of got me thinking, because again, I think designers tend to look towards what's popular and what's growing before they make connections. I think there's going to be what I'm going to dub a gacha light game. This is a brand new term, brand new genre. This is a genre that's kind of like roguelites, except okay, if I had to sum it up, it's like the entire gacha experience put into one session. So you're getting diamonds, you're doing pulls, you're taking a team and you're like trying to figure out the best formation for your team.
Okay.
And it's all wrapped up into a 20-minute experience. I have a lot of reasoning for why this would happen, but it's not too important. The point is, I think you're going to see this. I think once the first game hits, it's going to spread like wildfire like a few months later, kind of like Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors hits, 3 months later, you see a bunch of clones. And,
you think so?
Yeah, I think so. I think this is the way to go. This was something in my
20-minute experiences that are just
the full gacha experience, which is normally played over years.
Yeah.
and it's condensed into a 20-minute experience.
Okay. You're not gonna like my next prediction.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Um, and yeah, this was personally a genre I had in my back pocket. But I'm giving it away to the 5 people that watch this channel. If you want to
Do you hear that,
sit,
Randy? I swear to fucking, I swear to Christ, bro. I swear. Please keep listening, please,
that's right.
please.
If you want to jump on in front of the trend, go ahead and make this
Let's do it.
genre.
Let's do it. Let's put together a
So
little
that's it.
team. Come on. Come on. I got a little.
Okay.
I got some money.
Yeah.
I got no money, but I got a little bit of money. I'm dying
So
to
yeah,
just build something, dude. Fuck's sake.
no, I hear you. That would ruin my prediction because now I'm literally doing it just to be like, hey, my prediction went right because I made it. No,
No, stop.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. That's gonna be a new genre, and for 2022, that's all I got.
Okay. So, yeah, let's see if you like this one then, okay? This is going to be the last year of Gacha in the West. I do believe that we have hit the precipice of loot boxes. I think that we are figuring out ways to move away from these things. Brawl Stars, this comes down to actually because of another Deconstructor of Fun email that I got yesterday from part of their newsletter that said Brawl Stars has completely removed loot boxes or gachapon
Yep.
from their reign.
That's right. Brawl Stars and Overwatch 2 are the biggest names in this trend.
Yeah, which I just think that this is the problem that I've always had with this, and especially when countries were constantly trying to fucking legislate against all of this stuff and like being really reactive rather than proactive, right? A lot of it is just random rewards. It's like that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about statistics and random rewards and cadence of reward, right? But
Monetizing it though, monetizing it.
yeah, but
I think.
like yeah, but not really, right? Because like I had this stupid moniker that somebody else had kind of given me that I adopted, but I still liked it anyway. It's like, well, what's the difference between a Gachapon box and a World of Warcraft boss? Right? Like, if I'm paying for my subscription to gain access to the content, but then I need to grind up to get to that content to play into the raids, then I need to grind into the raids to be able to kill that boss once a week, for it to drop only 3 items or some amount of items depending on the raid party, and then I may or may not get an item out of that, right?
Right, which is like Diablo Immortal as well.
Yeah. So like, at what point is our bosses? We call them loot pinatas, right? But like, at what point are they a gachapon box at the same time? And at what point am I paying for something to have access to that content versus like paying for the box to have access to that content? You know what I mean? So I don't know, left or right, you can pick or choose which one you want to go with, but I do think that we are going to continually, like, if you're at the job site and you're talking about how are we going to monetize this game or how are we going to drop content, you bring up Gachapon, that shit's going to not fly. I think that you're going to see that really dip out, and the development is starting now and in the prior year of like, no, we can't do that anymore. Like, we're not doing that, right? We need to figure out different ways. And we saw it with the battle pass starting there, more directed rewards, more like path to progression or whatever like that. But I think you're gonna see something different coming from all of this stuff, or at least more just like straight directed reward.
Man, that was a bold take. You definitely say your spiciest take for the last one. I like that. That was a really pretty spicy one. And but man, you made a good argument for it. As long as you have a good argument for a spicy take, I mean, that's good. Because like the Call of Duty, the latest Call of Duty, their battle pass was pretty advanced. It was have you seen it? I forget.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. So instead of a linear battle pass, it's played on a map. You capture territories, and the territories give you different rewards. So there's some agency to it. It's like a whole mini game,
Oh
basically.
shit!
So it kind of resembles like
I
a
have the Call of Duty, but I don't play
yeah.
it. Is this
Yep.
the multiplayer side of things?
Yes, multiplayer.
Yeah, I
Yep.
literally not touched it at all.
Yeah, so that's kind of maybe what we might see. So maybe a shift away from gacha to more advanced battle pass systems that aren't just boring linear stuff. That's so 2022. It's
I
kind of
just always say it's to me it's pick your own reward. I think that's the
yeah,
way that
yeah,
things have been going. I think that a design for markets that I've always had in the back of my pocket has been design your own special bundles, right?
yeah, yeah,
You add. I think what I want to see is more e-commerce coming to the games. Before we would always say like it's direct to purchase, right? So like the character is there, the price is in front of you. I press the price, it says, "Do you want to purchase?" and you click yes, and that character is now yours. Whereas bundling has always been a strategy that has completely been devoid in in just the video games marketplace, right? Hey, take that character, but if you actually bought that character and you bought this gun skin from a completely different collection and you bought this other thing from this other place, then why can't I give you a discount now? Because you're bundling three different items together and you're spending over this
yeah,
amount of money. And like, I don't give a shit if I mean, it's digital products. I don't care. If you're going to spend $30 and spend $30 in a pop and you have that now in your cart, well, like, there's tons and tons of different lexicons of e-commerce knowledge that says like, okay, cool. Well, now you can tag those things for that player. You can say, well, maybe they like things from that collection. Hey, they're waiting for those items to either go on sales. Now, like that's part of your wish list or whatever, right? So it's like this pairs really well with that, right? Like the Amazon tactic of frequently bought
yeah,
together,
yeah.
right?
Oh, that's my
Try to get people then to upsell while also providing discounts for how much that you're doing it. So it's like if you're just going to spend $30, here's a 10% discount if you're going to spend $30. Players love that kind of stuff, right? But like it feels more economical, especially if they were going to buy those things in the first place, and it makes it so that we continue to push towards like larger purchasing. You know what I mean? Whether or not that has a different style of fatigue on the end game player, but like don't change your base prices to be like, oh, increase base prices so that the discounts is offset. Like that's bullshit. Like don't do that. Just do it like you would do like an IAP offer and just give more value for more money. Why not?
yeah,
Right?
very interesting.
So uh I've I've never seen it in a game. Never in a day. I've seen everybody move so far away from having a cart and blah 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 blah, but like I could totally see that doing fucking gangbusters, but you know what I mean, we'll see if people actually do it, or anything
Yeah,
like that.
and especially if you can frame it within the context of the world, then it's kind of natural.
Yeah.
A natural shopping cart.
No, I like that.
Good.
Do you have any more? Do you have another one?
Yeah, I got one more prediction,
Okay, I got
and
one more too.
okay, so this is based on all the trends I've been seeing, and the main one is that IDFA is still being a thorn to people. And quick definition: IDFA is simply the iOS like anti-ad tracking um, regulations that happened last year. So I think things have become really skewed. It's kind of harder, or at least more costly, to run ads.
Mm-hmm.
So on the other side, to combat that, I think we're going to see more retention, or rather, more design around retention. I know that hyper casuals haven't died, but I think people are like, man, it's expensive to get a new user. Why don't we focus on figuring out how to keep them there?
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I think is going to happen. So I think the biggest one of the biggest reasons to download a game and play it is a franchise or a brand that you know. If you look at all the top 10 PC games, especially, it's all franchises or sequels or something.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I think we're gonna see in 2023. This is my hottest take because I've never seen it, and anything even remotely close to it.
Okay.
I think we're gonna see an indie studio pull off the equivalent of a Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Ooh, okay.
I think the reasoning is, like I said, franchises matter. God of War, Ragnarok, Call of Duty. I don't need to go too much into it. Indies cannot compete on the franchise level. Obviously there are some small ones.
It is difficult though to hit, and
Yeah, yeah,
a lot of those games are built on their own engines and are patched together and have 3 teams across 4 different countries or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep. Like maybe you can partner with an IP, like that's your best bet. But basically, I'm saying because of the need for it, because people are having so much trouble competing with a franchise, an indie studio is going to develop like a really efficient multimedia pipeline. Maybe multimedia. Maybe they kick out a web series or something, and they're gonna try to attempt to create their own franchise out of nothing. So it's going to require some really smart know-how and to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it's going to happen. We're going to see one instance of this.
I like it. Yeah, like obviously it builds into a track of like, hey, we need to have a lot. We need to have more than one game, right? Like we have to have more. But if you're building that from the very beginning, you can build chapters or something else, and yeah, like who knows? You know what I mean? What that could actually entail. Absolutely, yep. I could see that. Damn. Yeah. All right. I don't know if I agree with this next one. I don't know if I fully agree with this next one.
Good way to end it.
I don't know if I fully agree with this next one, but we'll see. Okay. The way to make money in 2023 is fast following. I think that if you can just get the game and get it out and keep it within that genre sphere of something new and keep putting out something and be at the tip of the trend, I think that markets have shown me in the last year that like it kind of doesn't matter. Like you're going to get downloads, right? And if you make multiple games that are, small, easy to kind of produce or whatever, right? Like that are taking the essence of something else and just kind of throwing it to the market. I think that this 2023 is going to be a year where fast follows are going to make more money than before. Whereas I would always say first to market or best to market. That's always been my moniker of like, don't fast follow, don't do it. You're going to die. You'll never be able to get there. Everybody wants to play the hotness, not your game. But I think that these days there's so many things that people want more of that same experience, and they want tangential experiences to that thing. So it's more about contrast and compare. If something else goes out and does well, can I make something quickly that mirrors the experience of that other thing in a little bit of a tangential way, and that's its uniqueness, and that uniqueness is what's going to carry it through, right? But I think just being in that genre, being in that place where the people are looking is the place to be.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. And I think there's a big reason why. So
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah. I hear you. I think one of the biggest reasons, especially on Steam, the Steam indie side, I think Vampire Survivors really changed the price point of games. Mm-hmm. I really think everyone's like, oh, I should make a $3 game. Just whip one up in like 2 months and then do a $3 game. So here's the thing with $3 games. You like Vampire Survivors and you see like a slightly different Vampire Survivors. If it was a $60 game, you're definitely not touching it. If it's a $3 game, you're like, yep, all right, I'll just put this in the cart. So I think you're actually right. Due to lower prices, fast follow is going to be stronger.
Yeah.
Why not buy it?
Yeah. Radar Jam was a huge one. I think it's like a great game that's just got a little bit of a unique style, uh, built by one person. I think that if you're able to build a couple of those in the year and hit on the market of the trends, then you're just going to you're gonna see, I think, revenue return. Now I don't
Yes.
whether you're
Yes.
gonna see brand recognition and market recognition, whether those games are gonna be like the big hits, they're not. You know what I mean? I don't think that they will be. It's not the point. But if you want, I think that if you want to make some money, I think that there's definitely a place to say like, this is where it is, or at least this is a way that you can do it right now.
Yeah.
In
Totally agree.
more so than in next year and this year than you could in any other year.
Yep, I like that, and I totally agree. I don't condone cloning, but you should definitely make games inspired.
Yes,
Like
don't clone.
just tack on something new,
Yeah,
and this I think it will be a good year overall based on like all our predictions. I
and
think
don't
there's some
even
good
plus
stuff.
one. Don't even like plus one something. Like literally
Yeah,
just take the essence of that game, rebuild it, different art style, add some different stuff, put it out
yeah,
there. Just
yeah.
don't think about it too fucking hard. Just get it the fuck
Yeah,
out there.
and I think it's been good because there are hundreds of Vampire Survivor clones at the moment, but the successful ones all do something different. So
Hmm.
I think at least the market's like, hey, don't they're trying to vote with their dollars here.
Yeah, 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 yeah. What do you think on games? So let's say 2023. Are there any games that you're interested in coming out?
The main one on my in my head is Diablo 4, but
Mm.
I'm so skeptical that I'm trying not to care about it too much. That's my answer.
No, I get it. I'm everything that I've seen, even from like the very beginnings of the trailers from like 2, 3 years ago or whatever. I was like, these characters are not different enough for me to give a shit,
Yep, exactly.
and I'm
Exactly.
a little disappointed by that. But maybe there's not. I don't know. I can be on a horse now, and I can jump off of my mount and ride into combat. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. Blizzard
It's
has not had a good year or couple.
what you said about that is very similar to Street Fighter 6. For the fighting game community, Street Fighter 6 is going to be the biggest thing, but to me, it's not. It doesn't play differently enough to like really capture my interest. It's just like it has this huge single player campaign. That's it. So I'm very skeptical about all the games that I should normally care about for 2023.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you
what
there.
about you? What about you?
Okay, so I did. I should have looked at my list before coming into this, um, just because I had a little list of games that I do think that are going to be very very interesting in the new year. The main one I think for me right now is Atomic Heart is going to. I'm dying to play that game. I'm really genuinely looking forward to playing that game. Um, I think I love the art style. I love everything about it that I've seen so far. Dying to play it. Really, really dying to play it. The return of Stalker with Stalker 2,
Oh,
The Heart of Chernobyl, has one of the most unique art styles. Even you know what I mean, go back and play the original Stalkers or watch some videos on the original Stalker games. They look great even to today. They look awesome, and they play better than most games play. They're more in depth than most shooters are. Most if people want survival games, like that's one of the best ones out there that people haven't gone back to necessarily and played. I think Stalker 2 is going to absolutely dominate. I think the shooter genre for sure.
how long has it been since the first one?
Quite a while. Quite a while. I couldn't tell you when really like the first one was, but I'm not really too sure. Apparently, there's going to be a System Shock game, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. I think that's all that I really know. Well, like off the top of my head, right? Like, or at least, yeah, from the games that I'm not necessarily on my radar, but like the games that I can remember from the top of my head. Those two are the ones that I'm
Yeah.
actually excited for.
No, same. It's kind of funny because I talk about like we're using franchises too much, but then I cited two franchises as the games that I'm looking forward to. But then I'm looking at the top upcoming indie games, and I don't recognize any of these, which shows you, I guess, how little I know about the indie sphere. Apparently,
No, welcome to the. I mean, welcome to India, I guess, right? Here's a bunch of
right?
games you've never heard of or don't have any clue about
Yeah,
or anything like that as well. So,
exactly.
um, why don't we talk about top experiences either in playing games or making games 2022?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know, I for the longest time I was kind of negative about Call of Duty, but somebody gifted me a free copy of it, so I was like, okay, I guess
Hell
I'll
yeah.
play this.
Okay.
And but I played the extraction shooter experience, the DMZ, which is
Mm-hmm.
the PvPvE thing, and I had honestly a top 10 moment of like my gaming total experience.
Oh,
I was
damn.
really blown away because at the very end, as the battle royale circle pushes you away, and there's only one helicopter left, and there was about a dozen or 2 dozen people all running towards this helicopter with gas on your tail, and everyone was picking shots at each other. Um, my teammate goes down. I seriously thought, I was like, do I leave him behind? I don't
Dude.
want this gas on me. I don't want to be shot.
Went into hyper beast mode, just like,
Yeah,
oh!
yeah.
Just
And he
fucking
wasn't.
twitching everywhere.
Yeah, and he wasn't my friend. He was just a stranger. I didn't know him, but I picked him up, and then we run towards this helicopter, and it was such an intense experience with everyone trying to get on this helicopter. That I was like, wow, this was really really fun. So that was a definitely a great gaming moment for me.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I
What
didn't
about
play.
gaming for you?
I didn't play anything other than I paid $70 to play the campaign, and I didn't do anything else with Call of Duty at all. And I thought that the campaign was fucking mediocre, but it was
Oh, okay, good to know. I haven't touched it yet.
it's just I played every Call of Duty campaign that there has been. I think for the most part, and because I really like the campaigns. I think like the campaigns are like the sickest part of the things. They're real cinematic experiences, really interesting times. But I think that I don't know what it was. I just don't think that the cinematics were there for me at the same time. But you know, it is what it is. Like I've also there's been enough of them now that like the magic maybe have warmed off a little bit. So you know, what I mean, it is what it is. Uh, let's see. I don't know. Top gaming moments. Ooh, I don't know.
Playing Omega Strikers and getting destroyed
Oh,
several
yeah.
matches.
Jesus Christ. I'm trying to. You see, this is the problem. I'm also just trying to remember the games.
I agree.
I'm just trying to remember the games. Without having to like go back and like open up. Fuck it.
Yeah, not to totally derail you, but
I'm
I was
doing it.
looking at the Steam and review stuff. It said I had played like 60 some games this year. I was like, oh, that's probably low since I don't play that many games. But I was asking my friends, and they're like, oh yeah, I only played like 12 Steam games this year. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess me hopping into games for like 5 to 10 minutes is really
No, I think it all
unappreciated.
counted. Yeah, I think it all counted. Eh.
Huh.
It sucks. Do you
You
know
had
what?
you had a lot of co-op experiences. I don't know if they fall into it, but
Yeah, yeah.
do you ever finish It Takes Two?
No. Thank you for
Okay.
also reminding me of a game that I played this year that I totally forgot that I played.
Me too. Me too.
I'm after just doxing myself as well, so that's funny. So I think the Stanley Parable was way up there. It's definitely one of the only games that I can really think of off the top of my head. Um, It Takes Two was awesome, but yeah, it came with its own stuff. I don't know. Sorry, I think that one of the biggest disappointments was buying a Switch.
Disappointment.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest disappointments was buying a Switch. Not obviously the greatest moments, but I think that to me was a huge letdown. Uh, Best gaming moments. Fuck. No, I can't even think of any. Sucks. I don't.
Sorry.
Games suck. I hate games.
Yeah.
I don't like video games anymore. No. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's like a non-answer for sure for a question that I gave over, but I don't think that there were necessarily like that many.
Oh no. Big disappointment for you was Vampire Survivors. That
Oh,
was a
that
huge
sucked.
disappointment moment
That was
for
a
you.
huge disappointment moment. Sorry, but what the fuck are people doing, dude? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? But I
I'll
don't
give
know.
I got one disappointment. It's not a huge one, but so Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. So Mountain Blade 1 was like it is my favorite game of all time. Bannerlord we've been waiting I think a decade for.
Okay.
It came out. It's pretty good, but I wish it was. It's a follow up to my favorite game, and it's not there. So
Really?
I'll give that. I'll just say that's my biggest disappointment.
Hmm. Oh, I'll give it. Actually, I've figured it out. No Man's Sky was my best gaming moment
Nice.
of
Yeah.
2022. No Man's Sky, I came in completely blind after so many years of the game being out, and I was absolutely kind of blown away by the title and really enjoyed it. Sat in it, continued to sit in it, would be still sitting in it if I didn't have to go off and play other games at the same time too. And I think it's just a good game. I think it's fun to play with people. I think it's fun to play with friends. I think it's just an enjoyable experience just to kind of float around in space and just go and explore
Very
things.
cool.
Yeah.
Are they finally done updating that game, or are they? Wow, they're
I
still.
don't think so. Like done, like relatively wise. I don't think that. I think that they've just like pushed the end game like harder and harder and harder. And now you have like capital ships, like major spaceships that like rival Star Citizen style stuff. Which that's a game that you're going to see people really moving into now. Finally, I think you're going to see a lot of people moving into Star Citizen next year, and
Yeah.
biting the bullet. Destiny 2 was an odd one for me, but I really enjoyed playing Destiny 2 when did it go free to play this year?
I think so.
Yeah.
It feels like it.
I think it went free to play this year, and in doing so actually opened up the experience for me and allowed for a lot of entertainment, especially when I was playing the PvP side, like the 3v3s with friends. I quite enjoyed it for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. But
Okay. And real quick, since you asked about top game dev moments, I do have one of those.
nice.
It was definitely I did the Ludum Dare, and it was my highest placing ever, fifth in innovation, 20 something in overall. So
Sick.
I nowadays I intentionally try not to place high because I don't want to get the spotlight.
This
but
guy, this fucking guy.
no, this
Shut
guy's like,
up, dude.
I can't help myself. I gotta make a great game at will. So that's my answer.
They just dust one off just dust one off for the fucking one
Yeah.
time. One time for
Do
the
you
one
got-
time.
do you have one?
I think for me it was just it's got to be Batsu. It's got to be the card game. It's got to be going to these major events and seeing the game kind of thrive. And we just had this moment yesterday where a local game store in Wisconsin, already was stocking our game, and
Nice.
for however it happened, I think we were at like one of those Wisconsin like gaming classic place shows out there, and they contacted us, and we were trying to set up this meeting between all of our groups and just to have a conversation for no other reason. You have no real underlying motive, just like let's just talk about it. They had sold through the initial 12 copies that they owned and had two left and decided to re-up. But they re-upped for more copies than what they said that they were going to re-up for. They were going to just, theoretically just buy the same amount that they had before. They ended up buying 30 copies after one phone call. So 30 copies of your board game getting sold to one local store in Wisconsin. It's fine. That's cool.
Nice.
That's just cool to just like
No, absolutely.
the game got on shelves. The game has, and that's not the only game store that it's on shelves at, but it's on shelves around the country right now. Not at the majors, but at a couple of these like smaller like local stores, which
Totally.
like that's just an achievement. It's just like a big moment. It's something to build on top of. It's something cool that like I mean we all push the initiative. We all kind of work towards this like common goal. We've seen the fruits of our labor without any return. But we've seen the fruits of our labor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just because it's at these small stores, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because these are the small stores that you have. They always have like 3 Magic the Gathering nights there, and like they're always active actually. So just because it's not Walmart doesn't mean it's a terrible thing.
That, but also just like, look, if you're trying to get to the Walmarts, they want to see sales numbers. So if people are stocking it and people are just buying it out of the distribution warehouses and everything else like that, then like you can get those numbers. Like you can request them and try to find like, hey, what's my sales numbers right now, and see where you kind of are around the country and make a determination. You can bundle those things up and say like, in the first blah blah blah, we made a push, and like now they're out, right? Like now they're here. Like it's just nice to say that like at least that what I mean, that it's pushing. Everything is pushing. Everything is moving in a direction, which is like a good direction. So
Yeah.
pretty stoked on that, to be honest.
No, it sounds absolutely wonderful.
The initiatives, that was the big thing. The initiatives at the fucking events were the huge ones, right? Like little things like that the team came up with. Like Jamie had talked about clothes pegs, and as this like fun thing that we had left over from the Batsu Ultimate Edition, and they were playing a game of like clip, whereas like you try to take the clothes peg and you like try to clip it on somebody's hat as like slyly as possible and see how long it takes for them to notice, right? But they noticed that people at PAX were like different booths. They had like very specific PAX like gifts for people, right? And one of the things that they ended up doing was like in the middle of the hotel at night was just draw 4 dots and write Batsu on the clothes pegs, because the clothes peg was a big part of the live show. So they were able to just clip it onto things and then just give it to people as like little tokens, and they were wearing it on their hats and like wearing it on their things, and all around in the place you just saw people like with their lanyards with like
Yep.
not just like buttons, not just stickers, not just like enamel pins, but they had like a fucking clothes peg, and you're like, where the fuck did you get that clothes peg? And it
Yep.
set
And
a
they're
new,
like, just follow the gong.
dude,
and
it set a
you'll
new
get your
trend.
answer.
It genuinely, it set a new trend at the fucking place. Everybody wanted a goddamn
Nice.
clothes peg. It was so crazy, but like that's nuts. But it's like little things like that like, whew, give you a little boost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to give you a little boost.
Yeah. I think that we should end on a high note. We did
Okay.
because we as 2022 was wrapping up, both of us really had our heads down.
Holy
and
shit,
it's
yeah.
probably still gonna be like that for a while. but it is nice because I wasn't even thinking about my wins. It's been a while. It's nice to remind yourself of not just what you're doing, but the people you're affecting and the emotions you're drawing out of people. I think it's wonderful, and that's why we do games for those emotions.
We got 15 minutes though. I want
Oh, really?
one more
Okay.
thing. I want one more thing. Okay? I want
Let's
one
go.
more thing to wrap it all up. So I like to try and do these things at the end of years, for especially in the game dev career, right? I'm a big GDC head. Somebody told me a long time ago that like every single year, try to write up something that you learned from the year and write it as a GDC talk, right? What was like that one thing that you learned this year that you can carry into the next year that you could write a talk about, you know what I mean, type of thing, right? You don't need to necessarily do that yourself, but like, what's one lesson that you learned from the industry, from yourself, from your own practices that you could take into the next year that you're going to move forward with?
Very, very good question. And it's good because I actually frequently journal and write things because I still run my meetup and I have to prepare talks. So I do keep learning and pushing things.
Fair play.
Oh, can you go first? Because I can't think of just
No,
one to
totally.
say.
Yeah, no, totally. I think the biggest one for me is uh, just continue to take a different approach to games development. Be more open to different ways that games get made. I don't necessarily have to like over the last couple of years with like working really hard and working with teams and being more of like a top level manager or whatever, just doing managerial stuff or just like having to manage things. I've been a big proponent of process, making games with process. I still think that that's important, that you have to like find your own development process and like go down that way. But I think just being more open to other people's the way that other people make games, like that there's not just one way to make games, right? It's not just always just like this is this. But I think that that's definitely one for me that I'm going to try to carry into next year. Or at least continue to be that more open minded track of make things with in different veins.
Interesting. And that makes sense. Like I think if somebody works at Blizzard and they have been working on the same project for a while, they're gonna be more rigid. But man, you work with so many teams and different people and different customers that I imagine you're like, I gotta start being, or not. I gotta be really flexible to handle these different processes.
Yeah, I gotta be more flexible because I haven't been, and because I've also because of that on the flip side, seeing so much failure, and then being like, no, like you do it this way because it'll be better for you. But
Right.
is it better for you? Do I just let you fail? Do I try to, or do I try to let you know what I mean? Do I try to like push for my way, and it not still backfire, but like it ends up putting more tension into the team. So you're just like, all right, well, maybe everybody will just do it their own way.
Yeah, that's a really good.
Got to be open to different ideas and different ways to do things.
Yeah. That what your example I think shows up everywhere, especially working on teams. And there's some people you wanna teach, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I need to watch this person fail before they understand.
Yeah.
So I hear you. Yeah. For me, I'd say the biggest lesson is such a simple lesson, but I think it has really materialized or solidified as a pillar. So this is what I now understand how I should be researching. I think there is only one core question for a commercial game designer. I might have said this in previous podcasts, but the question you need to answer is what makes a game successful and what makes others not. So that's your core question that all your research should be. tying to. Now, it's just a base question. Everything else stems from it. One of the topics I've been researching lately is themes.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm thinking, what makes some things, or what makes some themes successful, and what makes others not. So you research that question, and hopefully it bubbles up to the core question. Everything I keep thinking about this. And the reason why I think it's so important is because obviously there's like there's just so much information out there and so many topics to think about for game design. If you always think about it with that heuristic, I think it not only cuts out 90% of the material, but you think about the info in a different way, in a more effective way. So that's my biggest lesson. I every time I give a talk, I'm always prefacing it with that. I'm saying this is the question, and this is what my 1 hour talk will help. How it'll help answer this question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it. All right, Calvin. Well, we started out strong.
We did. We gotta keep up the pace. Yeah,
No, that's all right.
This is a good one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think for us that whatever this is and whatever we enjoy doing about this, like, I don't know. My goals are actually right now, like in terms of goals is like be more active on r/game dev. I want to like every day like spend 30 minutes and like answer 2 questions or something, right? And try to always like
Yeah.
cross pollinate this podcast or these talks into those things, or just point people into different directions. But I think I just want to be more active online. I don't care for social media. I don't care for any of these things. But if it's in your ionosphere, like, why not? And if you're knowledgeable about it, well, why don't share your ideas and put them out there? So I'm hoping that this whole thing will grow a little bit more, and we'll see what happens. Really, you know what I mean. But I'm not worried about it either way. Just thanks for doing it with me.
For sure. And similarly, I've been over the past year, I've probably connected to people, and even people that aren't into game design but are like friends who are gamers. I've been asking them game design questions, just kind of surrounding myself with more game design talk, kind of like what you're doing. So
Yeah, hell yeah.
Good to hear.
All right, onwards and upwards. Let's do it. Shit, where's my fucking... where's all my... we're done. I figured it out.